we have esteemed speaker from NIT Hamirpur, madam.
Thank you जी, thank you. अच्छा,
ये हमारा फोटोग्राफर थोड़ा स्लो है.
कोई बात नहीं, हम सभी स्लो हैं.
So let me take opportunity to share the biography of Dr. Pamita Awasthi. Okay, thank you.
So myself, let me introduce you. First of all, good afternoon. So faculty and students all together on one. How many of you are faculty?
Scholars.
All are research scholars. Okay. So myself, Dr. Pamita Awasthi, and yes, I'm presently working as associate professor in Department of Chemistry, National Institute of Technology, NITUK, and presently heading also department, the same department. And I would like you to go through my CV because at the departmental website, so details are there. And regarding pertaining to this particular topic, I have executed, I think, more than 8 to 10 research projects as a research associate, as a PI, as a co-PI, and presently as a scientist mentor from DST, from UGC, from DAE, from what you can say CSIR, funding agencies, and scientist mentor for a women scientist. One is complete and one is still going on, and 2 startup projects. One is ongoing and one is recently being, I have brought from DST. So this topic, yes, of course, is really very, very interesting because still I'm learning to write the research proposal, right? So that which could be approved in one go, because ऐसा तो नहीं है कि हम एक बार लिखते हैं तो वो हमें मिल ही जाते हैं. So as you all are research scholars or guest faculty, or research scholars, so I have one question for you: that what do you understand by research? How you take it? It is for a job prospect or something which shakens you. Because this is a very, very important component in academics, be it a faculty, be it a research scholar, right? Research means that sequentially you go step by step. If you are doing research under your supervisor, and when you are writing your own independent project, yes, it has to be very, very precise and stepwise and sequential. So I think I'm very much thankful to the coordinator that he gave me this particular topic, and also the authorities of NIT Uttarakhand to give me opportunity to interact with the young researcher. So the topic is research plan, design and methods, right? How will you plan it, how will you design it, and what are the various, or what is the true methodology to write a research proposal? So this is a very famous quote from Richard Feynman. I think you know this person. You know who is Richard Feynman?
Father of man.
Father of man. Yes. So this is the famous quote. If I could explain it to the ordinary person, it would have been worth the Nobel Prize. Means whatever he has done, if he is not at all able to explain it to the person who is working outside in a field, तो उसका क्या फायदा? General, in my language I say, कि मैं जो भी काम कर रही हूँ या जो भी रिसर्च कर रही हूँ, जो बाहर काम कर रहा है, जिसका कोई लेना देना नहीं है साइंस से, अगर मैं उसको एक्सप्लेन नहीं कर पाती हूँ या मैं उसको बता नहीं पाती हूँ कि मैं क्या कर रही हूँ, तो उसका फायदा क्या है? Everybody is talking of nanotechnology in every area, be it an engineering, be it a science, any field you talk of, right? Nano, 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 every people is talking of nano, 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 nano. If you are not at all able to explain its application to a common man, कि उसका फायदा क्या है? Engineering में आप उसको कहाँ use कर रहे हैं? Medicine में आप उसको कहाँ use कर रहे हैं? Not at all able to explain it. What is it use? So my research, my topic, my idea should be of the level or should be implemented to the level that it should be understood by the common man and it should be of use to the common man. Be it a computer science engineer, be it a mechanical engineer, be it electronics engineer, be it electrical engineer, be it a scientist, a physical scientist, be it a doctor, whosoever. If it is not at all, your idea does not explain or does not argument the basic needs of a common man, उसका फायदा क्या है, right? So, therefore, it's not moving. So, majority of you who would be completing your research like here as a PhD candidate or as a research associate would be definitely either going to be a teacher or a faculty somewhere or a research scientist, right? So you have to have an expertise of writing because research is a major component of an academician. ये जो teacher है 50% component, जो 50% काम होता है उसकी involvement मेरे को लगता है more than 60% because 24 hours the idea is there in your mind. वो आपके दिमाग में घूमता रहता है. आप पढ़ा के भी चले जाएंगे तो आपके दिमाग में वो idea घूमता रहता है. So 24/7 you are working on it, right? So writing a research successful scientific proposal that definitely require a common sense, obviously, right? A careful planning, meticulously designed, and intense effort and lot of rewriting. Because I have to have a lot of reading, I have to have an information about the topic, what is currently going on. Let us take an example of AI. AI in particular field, you definitely have to read a lot of 50, 60, 70 research papers, right? And then you will take out or if some idea is there, then you will definitely augment that idea from that reading, right? So, lot of efforts and lot of rewriting is required. Right? And yes, reviewer-friendly approach. So who is going to review your proposal, research proposal? That should be there at the backstage. So these are the 4 parameters. First you need to then how will you plan it, right? What do you intend to do? आपको करना क्या है? That is your specific aim. That will define as बोलते हैं ना aim क्या है? What is the aim? You write a title, right? Not a title. What is the specific aim? What do you really want to do? Why it is important? ये important क्या है? क्यों important? Definitely you have to look into its background and its significance. That will only, you will conclude on this point if you have an intense reading about the topic. Then, what has been done so far? References, the review of research papers, right? Then, obviously, the preliminary studies you have to do. How you are going to do it? Definitely, you need to look into the research design and various research methods in order to completely define your research idea. So, the main points which you generally come across is, how will you accomplish your means? First, you have defined your aim. right? Let's take any of the example. कोई भी example, nano का ही कोई example. For example, you have to design, you have to work on sensor-based, right? Drug delivery device. Means you are controlling the drug delivery device from outside. All AI based. AI based. This is an idea. Means I'm just taking an idea. Most of you, I think, are engineer or scientist also. आप में से इंजीनियरिंग से बैकग्राउंड से ये सारे एग्रीकल्चर से आप हैं, ठीक है. चलिए मैं दोनों एग्जांपल लेती हूँ. सो इनके लिए यहाँ से कि फॉर एग्जांपल आपको एक नैनो साइंस में या नैनो टेक्नोलॉजी में ही एक व्हीकल है, टारगेट स्पेसिफिक. आपको मान लीजिए आपका कोई स्टोमक में एरिया है, यू हैव टू गो फॉर टारगेट स्पेसिफिक AI बेस्ड ड्रग डिलीवरी. दिस इज द आइडिया. So there are 3 different areas where you have to work upon, right? One is core, computer science and engineering, sensors, right? Sensors, specifically the biological, so you need to have a collaboration with the doctors also. Because internal system of a human being, you are not, expertise on that. But yes, how will you control the device from outside? How will you program it? Definitely, you have to look into it. वो आपका एरिया है. So there can be more than one. One specific aim can be divided into 2-3 sub aims. You can say the sub parts. So you have to have a collaboration for that. And if you take up your example, for example, like if you want to facilitate the pesticides, for example, right? Because soil in agriculture. Your farmers who are there in a field, they do not know that at what time, what type of pesticide or insecticide to pesticide or insecticide the plant to be exposed, right? मान लीजिए इंसेक्ट का लाइफ साइकिल है, वो चल रहा है आपका पर्टिकुलर महीने में, पर्टिकुलर वीक में. अगर उन्होंने उस समय पे उसको नहीं एक्सपोज किया उस पर्टिकुलर केमिकल से, सो इफेक्ट इज इट विल नॉट बी इफेक्टिव दैट वे, राइट? एंड इतना आपके पास समय नहीं है. मान लीजिए उसका लाइफ साइकिल आता है शाम के समय में, इंसेक्ट का नहीं कर पाते हैं आप. सो अब आपको क्या करना है, आपको टेक्नोलॉजी को इंटरवीन करना है. यूज द सेम व्हीकल, द नैनो टेक्नोलॉजी, यूज दोज व्हीकल, लोड द पेस्टिसाइड्स ऑन दैट एंड सेंसर बेस्ड आप अपने मोबाइल से ही कि ठीक है उसको प्रोग्राम कर दीजिए, ये इंसेक्ट का लाइफ साइकिल है और इस टाइम वो रिलीज करेगा. सो यहाँ पे एक आपका टारगेटेड प्रॉब्लम ये है, उसको एड्रेस करने के लिए यू नीड डेफिनेटली आपको कंप्यूटर साइंस भी चाहिए, आपको क्या कहते हैं उसको एंटोमोलॉजिस्ट भी चाहिए. और यस, सो दैट केमिकल कितना डालना है सो दैट सॉइल की फर्टिलिटी पे इम्पैक्ट ना करे, आपको एग्रीकल्चर साइंटिस्ट भी चाहिए. तो 3 डोमेन से वो आपका आइडिया जो है सपोर्ट हो रहा है. सो आपको पूरी की पूरी स्टडी, और यू आर द PI, प्रिंसिपल इन्वेस्टिगेटर, क्योंकि बाकी सब आपकी को-PI बन जाएगी. तो यू आर द प्रिंसिपल इन्वेस्टिगेटर. आप समझ रहे हो मेरी बात? सो इस तरह से जब आपके दिमाग में आ रहा है तो वो आपके अकेले की बस की बात नहीं है. यू हैव टू कोलैबोरेट. You have to collaborate. So, what you will do in order to, this is what the first line say. Research design, if it has to be carried out successfully, definitely आपको specific aim को accomplish करना पड़ेगा. Specific aim क्या रहेगा कि जो आपका मान लीजिए कोई जिस पे मैं काम करती हूँ, for example, एक आपका इंसेक्ट स्पीसीज है कैलिरिया बैलूना, दैट इज वेरी वेरी हार्मफुल टू द बी कॉलोनीज एंड इट डिस्ट्रॉयज द कॉलोनीज ओवरनाइट. उसका लाइफ साइकिल है आपका एक पर्टिकुलर टाइम पे, और उस टाइम पे आपको उसको एक्सपोज करना है. लेकिन बीज शुड नॉट बी गेट इफेक्टेड, इट हैज टू बी प्रॉपरली प्रोग्राम. तो वो आपका मेन स्पेसिफिक है, एम है. Then you will further fragment it. अब इसके लिए मुझे क्या क्या चीजों की जरूरत है? Methods are feasible and well developed. So whatever the method you would be using in order to accomplish your specific aim, that should be feasible and that should be well developed. ऐसा नहीं होना कि कुछ भी कर लिया मैंने, एक चीज यहाँ से उठा ली दूसरी चीज वहाँ, ऐसा नहीं चलेगा, right? Approach is to be original. Scientific community में, scientific research में, originality is the main thing. आप किसी को डाटा manipulate नहीं कर सकते, experiment manipulate नहीं कर सकते. Experiments are well defined, right? Protocols, they are well defined. So you need not to, because आप किसको बेवकूफ बना रहे हैं, आप किसी को बेवकूफ नहीं बना रहे, right? Data has to be analyzed correctly. So analytical tools जो भी आप लगाएंगे, मैं उसका एक example लूँगी बाद में, because in majority of the research, huge amount of data, specifically in engineering, whether you do experiment in agriculture sciences or medical sciences, biological sciences, physics, chemistry or engineering science, huge amount of data is being generated, whether theoretical or experimental. Analysis, then there is synchronization, then they are overlapping, and what conclusion you draw, that is also a very important part. That is the main part, right? So data, how you will analyze that data, that you have to report. And how many subjects in specifically in biological sciences, medical sciences and physical sciences, how many specimens, because यहाँ पे specimens लेते हैं आप, ठीक है, samples लेते हैं, how many subjects or specimen will be tested in order to conclude the research. Limitations, yes, you need to address what limitations you will encounter while executing that particular research proposal or a research plan. And time, because majority, the timeline is, specifically in our country, it is 3 to 5 years. For some funding agency, it is for 3 years, and for some it is 5 years. And sometimes, depending upon the outcome of your, because it is year-wise. By some of the funding agencies, they evaluate it as 6 monthly, quarterly, or some funding agency they evaluate it on the yearly basis. So depending upon the performance of your research proposal, they will accordingly extend it or they will close it down, right? So time, yes, you have to be stick on to, मैंने 3 साल कर दिया तो मुझे 3 साल में इसको खत्म करना है. Yes, your proposal should be, अब आपने लिखना कहाँ है, किस कौन सी फंडिंग है, सिर्फ मैंने इंडियन कंटेक्स्ट में लिया है, I have not gone beyond that. So, but in our country also there are Indo-French, Indo-US, Indo-German, there are so many proposals. They ask for the research proposal, that is a collaborative multidisciplinary areas where they ask for. So if you go to the website of these funding agencies, you will get all the information like DST, DBT, CSIR, DRDO, Department of Atomic Energy, there are so many. But if you see, in all these funding agencies, the performa is more or less common. Some are very specific like DRDO. So they are very specific in their research proposals, so that you can see from their website. So if I am writing some research proposal, I will go to that website. I will see, okay, what is the timeline, what is the closing date, and yet, who are the experts who will be evaluating my research proposal, and what is their background, right? Because name is written, their affiliation is written, and from there I will see, okay, this is their area, so that means they are expert in this particular area, so that should be there in my mind. For example, some professor is from agriculture sciences, this is their expert. Some of physical sciences, chemistry, physics, mathematics, okay, ये लोग हैं, इनका ये area of specialization है. In computer science, okay, ये data science में है, ये AI में है. So that should always be there in my mind. These are the experts, and definitely they are going to look my proposal from this angle. So that should always be there in the backdrop, right? So, first of all, when you start writing, because there is an introduction, right? 1-page introduction you always write. Introduction or abstract. You need to clear everything in that, because in majority of the cases, your review committee first will see your abstract and then will see your introduction. From there they are clear what the person wants to do, how he is going to implement his or her research plan. So you have to be very, very particular about writing the abstract of your research plan as well as the introduction, because you don't have to write a history starting from, अब रिचर्ड फेमन किया, उसने कहाँ से इन्वेंट किया, लेकिन उसने क्या किया and how significant it is, that is it. So एक first है, अगर आपको लगे कि नहीं, I will not be able to explain it in a single page, in a paragraph, make a flow chart. Make a flow chart of it. This will first step, second step, third step, right? So scientists होंगे जो, क्योंकि they are very big names, right? Those who will be sitting in the review committee, वो समझ जाएंगे, okay, he knows what he has to or she has to do, right? So, what care you need to take now in order to handle the reviewers? So, you need to properly organize, do not be very sloppy. So font should be, these fonts are visible to you. And something what I want to say is, I have made it different colors. For example, I want to tell you, don't be sloppy. Okay, so I focused on this word and made a different color. This is what I want to say, right? Make it easy so that they should be able to understand the thing. So बड़ी history लिखने की जरूरत नहीं है. Make it easy, simple. Language should be simple. कोई बड़ा complicated अंग्रेजी लिखने की जरूरत नहीं. Simple English, but lines should be connected, right? So you should not be right in that way that they need to, put more efforts to understand your concept, right? Then once they start, you should write in such a way that once they start reading, interest should be generated. Okay, I would like to read the proposal till the end. So you are advocating now. You started your proposal in a way that you are advocating the reviewers that please read my proposal till end. And yes, of course, don't treat them that आपने डाल दिया और कोई बैठे हैं बस ऐसे ही हैं वो देख लेंगे. So it's not like that. ठीक है? So all these things require to be taken care of. And this is the usual content. कहीं पे भी आप कोई भी, क्योंकि now once you are completed with your PhD program, there's so many openings for a postdoctoral fellowships, and definitely once you are applying for the postdoctoral fellowship, or if you are a faculty, you will be definitely writing a application for the research grant. Yes, you're going to do it, right? You're going to do it. आपने करना ही करना है. And this is the usual content. कहीं पे भी, wherever you put your research proposal application, this is the usual content. यही रहता है more or less. So ये हमारा तैयार रहना ही चाहिए, right? कुछ इसमें addition होती है. If you ask me, yes, if the idea comes, I just jot down all these things immediately, right? If I research 4, 5, 10 papers, immediately I simply keep it with me and start working on it. It will take another 1 month, 3 months, 4 months, because I have to see the methods, I have to see the various experiments, so all these things, right? But this is the usual content. Specific aim is there, what is their background and significance, preliminary data, or means new application if it is coming up, right? And means अगर आप new application लिख रहे हैं तो obviously you would be focusing on what is the data available, or what is the paper, what kind of papers they are being published, right? And if you have to submit the progress report, means once the grant is being sanctioned to you and you are submitting the progress report, definitely that is a renewal application. So I am not going to discuss the renewal application over here. I am focusing on the new application. Research designs and methods, right? Subject, which subject? Engineering, technology, sciences, medicine, etc. Or it's a core grant, or it is a multidisciplinary. Right? If it is a multidisciplinary, PI, co-PI, how many co-PIs would be there? Co-PI means, for example, if you want to do AI related to human body, definitely you have to have a co-PI from the medicine side. If you are doing AI, have some application with the agriculture sciences, so you need an agriculture scientist there. So all these things, first you need to make a framework or make a flow chart. Then literature related to it. That's it. This is the usual content, right? Specific, because most important part, if I go back, specific aim means what is your aim? What you really want to do, right? And aim is straight away research design and related to research design and method, so they complement each other. आपका specific aim, research design and methods, they obviously complement each other. Means आप aim कुछ और सोच रहे हैं, वो design और method कुछ और पकड़ रहे हैं, obviously you don't have any chance that it would be. Means वो आप देख के पता लग जाएगा कि इसको कुछ पता ही नहीं है, what they do not know what he or she wants to do, so they complement each other. अब AI की बात कर रहे हैं, अब AI के fundamentals के method ही ये नहीं उस पर लगा पा रहे हैं, तो समझ जाएंगे कि he doesn't know anything, he just means AI लिख के they have written one proposal and submitted, right? So they complement one another. How? Let us see. So if we start from this, because we have to be very, very focused on the specific. There can be one specific, there can be more than 1, 2, 3. If it is a multidisciplinary, you can have a 2-3 aims, right? But ज़्यादा aims बनाने की ज़रूरत नहीं होती है. Sometimes it becomes a disaster also. If you are making 2-3 aims, obviously because if it is a multidisciplinary project, it has to have a flowability, it has to have a connectivity. If they are not connecting, obviously then it is a disaster. So you need to keep your aim simple. So there are few guidelines, this is standard guidelines. You need to keep it very simple. Simple, keep it simple. And you need to clearly articulate the hypothesis. करना क्या चाहते हैं? What would be the outcome? All this. Clearly, वही introduction, abstract, right? Avoid over ambitious means आपने AI सुन लिया, उसमें कुछ भी डाल दिया, no. या कुछ बहुत हाई पे सोच लिया, जो कि executable ही नहीं है, और जो methods आप apply कर रहे हैं, it is not at all executive via that method, right? So you have to be very, very particular about it. So there might be so many questions, right? There might be, 100 questions and answers in your mind going on in order to address that particular specific aim. But there is not at all necessity that you jotted out all those necessary, whatever the ideas are there in your mind onto the paper. Select few important ones in order to maintain the connectivity. Let it be at the background. Up and down kar lijiye, but this is not necessary that you write all those 100 things which are coming in your mind, right? So if you are writing 3 years grant application, research grant application, it does not mean that there should be 3 specific aims. Or if you are writing a 5 years grant application, does not mean you have a 1 specific aim is sufficient, right? You have to be, yes, you have to be realistic. ऐसे तो unrealistic imaginations में नहीं जाए, you have to be realistic. Your aim should be realistic. It must have some significance, some application. Right? And if you have more than one aim, जैसे कि मेरे फर्स्ट एग्जाम्पल लिया, जैसे इनका एग्जाम्पल ले लिया, एग्रीकल्चर AI कनेक्टिविटी, मेडिसिन AI कनेक्टिविटी, इस तरह का कुछ एप्लीकेशन है, जैसे कि ड्रग डिलीवरी फ्रॉम रिमोट, मीन्स इफ सम कैंसर पेशेंट इज देयर, राइट, देयर इज नो नेसेसिटी, बिकॉज उसको क्या है, उसकी जो ट्रीटमेंट होता है उसको रेगुलर उस पर कीमोथेरेपी चलती है. इफ यू रेगुलेट इट फ्रॉम, if he or she is at home, you need to regulate it from the hospital. Definitely you have to have that model. आप समझ रहे हैं मेरी बात? So there are 2 specific aims now. First, obviously, complete AI base की वो किस तरह से AI sensors और इनका किस तरह से integration होगा, क्योंकि वहाँ से उसका सारा pulse का, उसका सारा data कैसे आएगा, वो कैसे उसको calculate और किस तरह से कब दवाई release करेगा, वो एक अलग system है. अब मेडिसिन उस तरह वाला जो डॉक्टर का क्या काम है, डॉक्टर देखेगा कि हाँ ये जो इसका दवाई के एक्सपोज पे अब क्या चीजें होंगी उसको कैसे रेगुलेट करेंगे, तो वो वाला एक अलग चीज हो जाएगी, वो मेडिसिन साइड से चला जाएगा। सो नाउ यू हैव टू सब एम्स टू वन स्पेसिफिक एम, दो स्टडीज में आपका स्पेसिफिक एम डाइवर्ट हो गया। दिस इज व्हाट आई एम ट्राइंग टू से, you need to connect the aims thematically, so your aim should be connected if it is a multidisciplinary proposal, right? With and multidisciplinary means you are going to you are executing certain kind of a application. Your research is application based, and this is the need of an hour. All research should have certain application associated with it, right? That would definitely get transformed into innovation or some maybe startup. This is what the government is proposing or encouraging for all the researchers to come forward with this kind of a mind. That's why this type of activities are there. You are an engineer, he is an agriculturist, he is a scientist, so all are sitting together, right? So you can deliberate on certain ideas, you can work in you can deliberate, you can make a team on it, so that you should be able to work on it in order to make a innovation out of your research idea, right? So possible models, so means you have to connect the aims thematically. You have the possible model is each aim must be having a different approach. उनका अलग है, आपका approach अलग है, लेकिन they are connected to the central hypothesis. So they are addressing the specific aim. They are addressing the specific aim. Specific aim क्या है? AI integrated drug delivery, right? So वो दोनों अलग-अलग चल रहे हैं, but वो एड्रेस करने चाहिए स्पेसिफिकली, ये उधर चला गया एक उधर चला गया, नहीं, दैट विल नॉट एड्रेस, राइट? ईच एम डेवलप और डिफाइन अ नेक्स्ट लॉजिकल स्टेप। ये लाइट ऊपर वाली बंद होती है कहीं से, इसलिए आपका लाइट हो रहा है, ये लाइट कहाँ से बंद होती है? कर दीजिए, हाँ बस, ये लाइट हो रहा है, यहाँ तो ठीक है, ठीक है। So each aim develops or define a next logical step in a process, right? Or mechanism to test the central hypothesis जो आपने propose कर रखा है. That is your specific aim. Fine? Is it clear? Any question up till here? Any doubt? Right? मैं language में कोई issue तो नहीं है? मैं इसको थोड़ा सा comfortable बनाने की कोशिश कर रही हूँ, right? Right. Now, one important thing, you need to avoid the conditional aim. Now, what is conditional aim? ये होगा तो ये होगा, otherwise नहीं होगा. No. आप समझ रहे हैं? So avoid conditional aim, right? One dependent, एक aim जो है, मान लीजिए इन्होंने रखा है, एक dependent है, it's okay. But if you have multiple, then it is a disaster, as I told you earlier, right? And definitely must be having a compelling rationale. What do you mean by compelling rationale? Rational means substantial. इससे का कुछ outcome होगा, right? It must be having a compelling rationale. And अगर इस method से नहीं होगा, so what is the alternative method? It has to be. So compelling rationale means it is not go by route A. सीधा नहीं जा रहा है तो टेढ़ा आएगा, इस तरफ से नहीं आ रहा है तो इस तरफ से. You understand my point? Okay. That is plan B. ठीक है? So, अब each specific aim, then उसके सब aim, चाहे आप सब aim ले लें, specific aim ले लें, सबको ऐसे चलना पड़ेगा. Right? You need to address the research question. What do you want to do? Number one. Rationale behind it. Then what design or what methodology or approach you will follow or you will have in order to address that research question. Then what different methods, experimental, theoretical, computational, mathematical models, whatever, right? Whatever the area is there, you would be using, right, in order to address the research question, right? Then what would be the anticipated results? Obviously you have to, अभी आपने किया नहीं, अभी तो proposal submit कर रहे हो. So what would be the anticipated results? क्या results होंगे? What would be the outcome? होगा क्या? बताना पड़ेगा. आप ऐसे हवा में बात नहीं कर सकते. और आपकी जो interpreted outcome होगी, that should be supporting your design and approach, your method, and must be addressing the research question. जैसे कि AI integrated to drug delivery, AI integrated to pesticide delivery, right? In a field. So, what would be the outcome? Right? That should be in sync with the research question you have raised and design and method you have chosen. वो एक दूसरे से मिलने चाहिए means जो complement करने चाहिए. ये नहीं कि इधर हाथ जा रहा है तो उधर टांग नहीं. It's not like that. Then it is going to be a crash. You need to address what difficulties you are going to face and what are the limitations are there in order to address the research question, and what is your plan B. If this fails, then what will you do? Everything has to be, because plan B, plan C, plan D, what's wrong with that? Right? It should be there in your mind. So rationally means I explained to you right now, that is what are the specific aims, means what are the specific, how you are executing your specific, that is how real it is, how significant it is, right? Then you need to describe that how you will design your study, means the complete methodology, how will you design it. If it is related to agriculture, or if it is related to medicine, or if it is related to biological sciences or chemical sciences or other physical sciences, material sciences, how many specimens you will choose, means experimental specimen, right? And what are the various other factors and what are their outcome, and how will you assess those outcomes? Everything has to be clearly jotted down. Clear? Measurements, very important part, right? Which equipment you will use? पूछेंगे कौन सा equipment use करेंगे? Equipment available है कि नहीं है? नहीं है तो obviously we'll write that I'm going to procure it. ये लोग खोल दीजिए, मुझे लगता है गर्मी पड़ रही है, खोल दीजिए, ठीक है? Then if you choose the equipment, yes, how will you do the measurement, right? And how accurate, precise, or sensitive or specific those measurement would be. जैसे कि computer scientist maximum तो उनका data ही है. How they are doing the measurement, which software they would be using, उस software का standard क्या है, accuracy क्या है, all these things you people do, I think, right? So everything you have to disclose. Then, if you are designing your honor, because there are some research proposals which they request you to for designing and development of novel method, like software writing, software hardware designing, software writing, specifically in technological section. So definitely you need to address that what is new about it, right? What is new about it? And you need to emphasize very clearly what is new about it, what is new about this method. And now it is not product oriented, it is a process oriented research proposal. Process and product, there are two research areas, product oriented and process oriented, right? So उसमें नया क्या है, right? And what are the advantages over the existing one? उसमें फिर कई तरह के आपके statistical tools भी लगेंगे. When you compare the two methods, the new one, the designed one, the old one, and yes, obviously, theoretically भी आप कुछ करेंगे, Then you will compare the three, and you need to show that how your design method or the process is as over that, so you need to report it also. This is a very important point. So that's why I'm saying you just cannot, आप हवा में बात नहीं कर सकते. Step by step, you need to come down, right? Data analysis, now, because this is the main component. Be it a scientist, be it a biologist, be it a engineer, technologist, whosoever, this is the main. Huge amount of data is generated. You definitely, आपको conclusion और interpretation करना है, but analysis is a black box. Analytical tools, कौन से आप लगाएंगे? You need to, because यहाँ पे maximum I have seen, because we have also seen it. If you do mistake over here, what analytical tool I am using, what experiment I am going, what experimental computational, अगर मैं दोनों कर रही हूँ, theoretical भी कर रही हूँ, experimental भी कर रही हूँ, और मेरा कुछ review भी है research से related, मैं तीनों को compare करके अपने results को conclude कर रही हूँ, interpret कर रही हूँ, तो मैं उसको use कैसे कर रही हूँ? I have to show it. वो होता है, पर आप कैसे करेंगे इसको? How will you do it? How will you interpret the data, right? So, you need to describe this approach in detail. That this much data would be generated, this would be experimental, this would be theoretical, and this is from the literature review, and this is the way I would be doing, and hence I am concluding my result, which is argumenting my specific aim. Yeah? Data analysis. अब इसमें थोड़ा सा मैं एक particular field में focus आ जाऊँगी, because this is one of my area, right? Because I have lot of data from agriculture side and well as from the medicine side. So we apply statistical tools, right? We apply some statistical tool. We use experimental data. We use the data which is there in the literature, and then we compare, right? So I need to define statistical parameter as well as the test which I am doing, what type of test I am doing, and where I am referring it. कौन से statistical tool को मैं कहाँ से refer कर रही हूँ? It has to be clearly articulated in data analysis section, right? Then what is power analysis? ये बड़ा important segment है, खास कर agriculture scientist आपको बता पाएंगे. I think you understand what is power analysis? या फिर software, computer वाले कौन है? Power analysis.
How much energy it will consume?
No. Data, power statistical analysis. When your sample size is very small, right? Power analysis is, power statistical analysis is how small your sample is. So, a huge data is being generated sometime, huge specimen, right? Then you use a different statistical tool. When you have a small sample, small data, you use a different statistical tool. So power analysis is that, yes, how small your sample is, right? And how many specimens you are using. What is the sample size of the specimen, right? Kitna hai. And which are needed to have a certain probability of detecting the effect. Means कितना छोटा sample जो है, जो मैं काम कर रही हूँ, उसको मुझे सारा देना पड़ेगा कि मैं कितने sample ले लूँ, 2, 3, 4, 5 group of कितना ले रही हूँ, जो कि मेरा जो मैंने specific aim दे रखा है, that will be argument my study, right? So this is a statistical tool. That's why, because engineer and scientists are there, so I have used this term, power analysis. You need to keep in mind, the goal is to determine that enough data will be connected to support your analysis or your study, right? But it's not certain, this is an approximate approach. So sample size could be small, it could be large, data could be small, or data could be large in engineering. So these are number of specimens or variables or parameters in research plan. This is the way I'm going to go for my analysis. right? If I'm from taking some data from let us suppose some insect species, right, or some biological samples, right? So definitely I will, if my sample size is small, I will go for the power analysis, right? And from this power analysis statistical tool, what would be the outcome of that analysis? What are the various specific factors or independent variables that will augment this statistical analysis, right? And for example, statistical test or simple estimation, for example, analysis of various or linear regression analysis you people do, majority of mathematical or the engineers, right? All these things you do to fit the data, right? So all these things has to be discussed, and you need to describe the effect size. What would be the size of your sample, right? क्या data का level क्या है और sample का size क्या है? Everything has to be reported briefly, but in a very precise manner. So effect size is the ratio of the expected. Now, what is effect size? Is the ratio of expected differences to measure of the variability, which is based on work which has already published. As I told you, need to read the published papers, right? So that comes from there. Preliminary studies you have done, right? And educated guess means this is what you presume this can happen. That is the effect size. So you need to use an effect size of scientific importance. So उससे उसका आपके जो specific aim जो आपने define किया है, design किया है, उसका significance बढ़ जाता है. Then this is expected results and interpretations, right? So research question, specific aim, research question you have raised, then study you have designed to address the research question, collection of information from various resources, analysis of finding, experiment भी किया, information भी ली, critical भी किया, then interpretation of your result, which would be answering your specific aim. Now it is an iterative process. It is a closed loop. Something generated, then you will again keep on moving in the loop, right? So this is a iterative process. You need to address the limitations, right? So which include the segment on potential difficulties. You need to very clearly articulate the limitation you will face while addressing your research plan or research proposal. Like under each, if it is a single aim, it's okay, fine. But if it is a multidisciplinary, you have a number of specific aims. हर एक के नीचे क्या क्या limitation? Agriculturist को क्या आएगी? Medicine वाले को क्या आएगी? AI वाले को क्या आएगी? अगर तीनों इकट्ठे काम कर रहे हैं, right? So under each, and it has to be addressed under each research. क्योंकि सबका अलग, agriculture वाले का अलग research design method होगा, AI वाले का अलग होगा, medicine वाले का होगा. तो सभी की research methods के नीचे you need to completely articulate the limitations, to address the limitation, and use that limitation for the future studies. इसके बाद ये अगर ये limitation आ रही है तो how we will address? So there is another research proposal on that, isn't it? Timetable. This is very important. ये सब जगह आता है, हर research proposal में हमें देना होता है. Clearly, one aim, then sub aim 1 and 2. If you have aim 2, multi aims, multi specific aim 1, 2, 3, 4, sub aim part 1, part 2, part 3. Part 1 will be completed in first year. Part 2 will also be completed in second aim. The second specific aim will be executed in second year, and so on. You need to completely define the time frame, right? Ending. So when you have to close the research design and method with overall statement about the significance of your studies, so ये lines बहुत important होती है. So what would be the outcome, right? And be enthusiastic. मस्त होके लिखिए. आपको मजा आना चाहिए. कोई भी आप साइंटिफिक रिपोर्ट लिख रहे हैं या साइंटिफिक प्रपोजल लिख रहे हैं तो मस्ट एंजॉय. आहा मजा.
ये तो परेशान होते हैं.
हैं?
ये तो परेशान हो जाते हैं.
परेशान नहीं होते हैं, एंजॉय कीजिए. मुझे तो ऐसा लगता, मैं तो हर एक चीज को बड़ा अपने दिमाग में खुशी हैप्पीनेस मोड में लेके चलती हूँ. एंजॉय, बी एंथुजियास्टिक. प्रेशर नहीं, प्रेशर में तो आदमी कुछ भी नहीं कर पाता, खा भी नहीं पाता प्रॉपरली, काम करना तो दूर की बात है. सो दिस इज अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट लाइन, बी एंथुजियास्टिक, राइट? So yes, this is also very important part of it. Your proposal should be very neat and clean, right? And जो font होता है 11, 12 तक ही रखना होता है. 12 is fine. So मेरा ये आपका 12, 16, 14 का चल रहा है जो मैंने बना रहा है. And clarity, proofread दीजिए, figures बनाइए, tables बनाइए. अब देखिए, मान लीजिए when you are showing the data analysis, how you are going to go for the data analysis, definitely आपको tabular form में या इस तरह से picture form में. Picture form में कोई भी देखता है वो उसको बहुत अच्छे से understand करता है. So preferably आप figure बनाइए, tables बनाइए या कुछ और तरह से बनाइए in order to show that this is a way, this is what I understood. मान लीजिए आपने 50 पेपर पढ़ रहे हैं, 50 पेपर का 3 पेज का conclusion निकल रहा है. मान लीजिए आपने 50, you all are research scholars. You have studied, if you have read 50 research papers, and out of those 50 research papers, your conclusion or outcome of that comes out to be 3 to 4 A4 size papers. So you just cannot write 3, 4, 5 means A4 size research paper. Make a figure, and that way, this is what means how you are representing your study. वो समझने वाला समझ जाएगा, इसने तो इसको पता है what he is doing, he has read it, right? So this is the idea, this is the way you can present it. Then length, this is also very बड़ी लंबी. देखिए, reviewers they have to read more than 200, 300, 500 of research proposal coming from all over the country. तो अगर 50 पेज की बना दोगे, वो लिमिटेड होता है, वैसे वर्ड्स भी लिमिटेड होते हैं, उससे ज़्यादा जाता ही नहीं है. लेकिन उससे भी अगर आप बिल्कुल प्रिसाइज टू द पॉइंट रखोगे, so your research plan must not be go beyond 25 pages जो आपने सबमिट करनी है. Specific aim, 1 page means what is the backdrop or introduction, or as well as aim as well as background, not more than 1 or 3 pages totally, or 4 pages in totality, right? Preliminary studies means इसको बोलते हैं literature, national, international, which you have done, should not go beyond 6 to 8 pages. And design and method, this is the important component. सारा discussion उसके आसपास घूमता है. It should not be more than 30 to 15 pages. So इससे भी कम, 20 pages में conclude, 20-25 pages, right? Conclude it. So your writing should be very informative, like ऐसे नहीं करना है, it should be informative. Then avoid over ambitious research plan. Then very complicated specific aims, right? इसका कोई सिर नहीं है, पैर नहीं है, so don't go for that. And very complex or emerging techniques without established, कोई ऐसी technique जो अभी established नहीं हुई है, so do not use that, right? And too little details about the data analysis. So I've discussed with you in detail. So underpowered studies, obviously ऐसा नहीं लगना चाहिए कि मान लीजिए आप ही की एरिया का कोई एक्सपर्ट बैठ जाता है आपके, और 2022 का ही रिसर्च पेपर है, आपने उसको रेफर ही नहीं किया है, और उन्होंने पढ़ाई कुछ नहीं. आप समझ रहे मेरी बात? ये आप ही का बड़ा एरिया है और 2012 का कोई रिसर्च पेपर है जो आपने कोट नहीं किया है. Thought. You have to be thought. So summary, yes, in order to have a successful, I'm pretty sure अगर आप इस स्टेप फॉलो करेंगे, पहली दूसरी तीसरी अटेम्प्ट में ले जाएंगे, ठीक है? successful research proposal design and method. Idea should be very bright, right, innovative, and well developed and clearly described methods, right, appropriate data analysis, right, enough sample size, if you are doing some kind of a sampling, whether it is a data or a sample, whatever. Plenty of time you get involved with that kind of a work. Very less limitations, जितनी कम हो उतनी अच्छा. And clear-cut pathways to address your specific theme with strong conclusion. Right? So this is the summary what I have discussed right now. And yes, thank you very much. पूछिए. I'm ready to address your questions. No what? Sandeep?
मैक्सिमम पीएचडी स्कॉलर हैं तो सब्सक्रिप्शन तो जरूर होनी चाहिए.
हाँ, because ये सब तो हाँ जी please.
Ma'am, I have a questions regarding the real-time data. Means it is generating a huge amount of. So as you said that lots of rewriting is there. So suppose I am doing analysis for COVID disease. So initial 1 year the data was different. And suppose I submit something and it comes after 6 months to me through the reviewer. So again that data is changed. So how I can address this kind of issues means
Because देखिए, you would be definitely addressing your proposal as a certain time. मान लीजिए last date है 30 नवंबर 2022. So obviously you would be covering all the findings up till 29th November, not beyond that. That is quite obvious and everybody understand that. And regarding the data specifically in computer science and engineering, if you talk of studies on computer science and engineering or on these viruses, right? It is changing within a week. So even those scientists also know. So maybe after some time, it takes 6 months, they may ask you to resubmit with updated. If that proposal suits the mandate of that particular agency. So they do ask us, okay, resubmit it with updated version.
Means we again need to do the change.
No, but you see, because this is your idea, you are working on it. Definitely you will keep yourself updated. Doesn't mean that once your research proposal, they will ask you for the presentation. So at the time of presentation, everything should be clear to you. If you are submitting your proposal on 29th November, but giving your presentation on 31st of March, so after 31st March, it should be clear to you. So वो आपका 30 नवंबर तक नहीं होना चाहिए पर, and everybody knows. But main attractive part is that specific aim, what you are going to do with the data, and how significant it is going to be. In which area? Medicine, agriculture, or maybe AI? किस तरह? Right? Did I address your query? Any other query? Yes, please ask. Students को तो पूछना चाहिए भाई. हाँ जी पूछे. हिंदी में पूछे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. भाषा is not an issue with me.
बैरियर नहीं है.
हाँ, language barrier मेरे साथ नहीं. मैं तो चाहती हूँ आप बोले तो मैं आपको समझाऊँ.
Ma'am,
हाँ जी.
if we have more than 1 or 2 specific aim,
हाँ.
then one aim can be a conditional for the one specific aim.
मैंने कहा कि जैसे conditional है ना आपका कि specific aim जो है जो दूसरे वाले को जो आप एड्रेस करेंगे वो तभी कर पाएंगे जब एक फुलफिल होगा.
Yes.
ये अवॉइड करना चाहिए.
But ma'am,
या फिर नहीं, या तो फिर आप ऐसा करें ना कि मेरा स्पेसिफिक एम है, लिमिटेशंस में ले आए कि अगर ये नहीं होगा तो मैं पाथ बी फॉलो करूंगी, तब वो दूसरे पे आएगा. मींस आपको पूरे पाथ डिफाइन करने पड़ेंगे. तो बोलेंगे अच्छा ये अगर पाथ ए पे हो गया तो आपके पास पाथ बी क्या है, फिर वो आपको पता आना चाहिए. सो मैंने एक वर्ड किया था कि अप्रॉक्सीमेशन है, लेकिन आप जो आइडिया जो आप एम की कनेक्टिविटी बता रहे हैं उसको कंडीशनल ना रखें. उसको कंडीशनल ना रखें. ठीक है, अगर इस पाथ से नहीं गया तो इस पाथ से जाए.
it means we have to define 2 different parts.
यस, मैंने वही तो कहा कि वो हर एक एम का वो पूरी प्रोसेस चलेगी, इटरेटिव लूप में चलेगा. ठीक है, क्लियर? कंडीशनल मत रखो, फिर बोलेंगे अच्छा तो ये तो रिसर्च प्रपोजल इसका पहले साल के बाद चलेगा ही नहीं, वो फिर आपका एक नेगेटिव हो जाएगा आपके प्रपोजल के साथ, वो नहीं होने देना है ना। एग्रीकल्चर वाले पूछें, कुछ नहीं लिखते नहीं है आप लोग, प्रपोजल में लिखते हैं, कहाँ से हैं, कौन सी यूनिवर्सिटी?
सेंट्रल
यूनिवर्सिटी। अच्छा, ये
ये
सब
तो जेनरिक,
ये तो जनरल है।
रिसर्च मेथोडोलॉजी हर जगह यूज होता है, यानी पीएचडी स्कॉलर पेपर तो
आप किस एरिया में, चलो मैं बताती हूँ, आप किस एरिया में काम करते हैं? रूरल डेवलपमेंट में आप क्या करते हैं?
जैसे मेरा
पीएचडी कर रहे हैं ना, पीएचडी कर क्या कर रहे हैं आप रूरल में?
मैं पौड़ी जो गढ़वाल डिस्ट्रिक्ट है
हाँ।
उसका आउट माइग्रेशन चेक कर रहा हूँ।
आउट माइग्रेशन मींस
यहाँ से लोग जो बाहर जा रहे हैं।
यस, दिस इज अ वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग टॉपिक। अच्छा, उसमें आपने क्या किया, अब मैं आपको बताती हूँ, लिखते जाइए आप कैसे लिखेंगे प्रपोजल। हाँ जी, आउट माइग्रेशन आप एनालिसिस का, आपका स्पेशलाइजेशन क्या है मास्टर्स का?
मेरा है इकोनॉमिक डेवलपमेंट इन पर्टिकुलर, मैंने श्रीनगर वैली में किया था कि यहाँ के जो लोग हैं उनका इकोनॉमिक जो है सोर्स है, एम्प्लॉयमेंट है, वो किस तरफ है। तो इसीलिए मैंने जब उसमें चेक किया कि यहाँ का लोगों का क्या है, ज़्यादातर बाहर जाते हैं जॉब के लिए, तो मैंने पीएचडी को कंटिन्यू किया, पूरा वो लिया।
This is a very interesting topic because this is a real issue with this particular region because of the migration of people. अब देखिए, economic means लोग माइग्रेट क्यों कर रहे हैं, इसलिए कि उनको कोई भी, अब मान लीजिए आप यहाँ से जाएंगे या कोई और जाएगा, उसका रीजन क्या रहेगा? उसका रीजन ये है कि उसको कमाई का कोई साधन नहीं है ना, एम्प्लॉयमेंट का कोई साधन नहीं। अब एम्प्लॉयमेंट, गवर्नमेंट हिल स्टेट है, हिल स्टेट में क्या दे सकते, क्या हो सकता, इंडस्ट्री यहाँ है नहीं, ठीक है, सरकारी नौकरी में भी क्या सरकारी नौकरी है, कोई खास नहीं है। तो मेन क्या है, मेन ये है कि एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर है। एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर में देयर आर सो मेनी अदर थिंग्स कि यहाँ पे लोग खेती क्यों नहीं कर रहे हैं, अगर खेती भी कर रहे हैं तो कैश क्रॉप्स क्यों नहीं ले रहे हैं, अगर कैश क्रॉप नहीं ले रहे हैं तो कौन सी कैश क्रॉप आएगी यहाँ पे, और अगर वो कैश क्रॉप भी आएगी तो उसमें लोगों को सेंसिटाइज कैसे हो, तो इतने पढ़े लिखे नहीं है, कई लोगों ने तो मैट्रिक भी पास नहीं है। सो इट इज, आपका तो टॉपिक ही बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग है, आपका तो प्रपोजल बहुत जल्दी, अब मैं आपका रिसर्च प्लान में मैं बताती हूँ, जैसे ये देखिए पीछे आते हैं, कोई इशू नहीं है, बताते देखिए हम इनका रिसर्च प्रपोजल अभी तैयार कर देते हैं, और जरूर लिखिएगा, नहीं होगा तो मैं आपकी हेल्प करूंगी। अब आ जाइए, आप बोलते मेरे से कि आप कैसे, रिसर्च एम क्या है टाइटल?
Patent consequences of rural out migration in district body development.
Yes, this is the specific aim. Background and significance. क्यों हो रहा है, क्यों लोग बाहर जा रहे हैं, और सिग्निफिकेंस क्या है? सिग्निफिकेंस है कि इनको नहीं जाना चाहिए, इनको अपने एरिया पे, अपने यहाँ पे काम करके, अपने ही यहाँ घर में रह के कुछ कमाई का साधन लेना चाहिए। कैसे? थ्रू एग्रीकल्चर। यहाँ पे आपको किसकी, हॉर्टिकल्चर और एग्रीकल्चर साइंटिस्ट की जरूरत पड़ेगी, उसमें सॉइल इंजीनियर की जरूरत पड़ेगी, सिविल इंजीनियर की जरूरत पड़ेगी, बिकॉज 2 पैरामीटर, सॉइल टेस्टिंग, वाटर टेबल। सो अगर कैश क्रॉप भी लेनी है तो कौन सी कैश क्रॉप आएगी? अभी मिलेट को गवर्नमेंट बहुत जिसको कह रही है ना, प्रमोट कर रही है, मिलेट का तो ये रीजन है, ये मिलेट का रीजन है। सो वी मस्ट प्रमोट people to grow as per, मैंने खुद यहाँ पे देखा है, कोदरे की बड़ी खेती है ऊपर,
फिंगर मिलेट और इंडियन पार्ल यार्ड मिलेट यहाँ
बहुत पॉपुलर है, और इसको अब आपकी गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया प्रमोट कर रही है। यू नीड टू सेंसिटाइज द पीपल। एक तो ये है, दूसरा उनको इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ के लिए उसकी यहाँ पे मंडी होना, श्रीनगर में उनको बेस्ट प्राइस मिले, क्योंकि उसका बेस्ट प्राइस जो है डिफाइन हो गया है शायद, आई डू नॉट नो, लेकिन कुछ इसका प्राइस जो है आपके दूसरे ग्रेन से ज्यादा रखा है गवर्नमेंट ने, आई एम नॉट श्योर अबाउट इट, बट एज फार एज आई नो एक डे भी रखा, मिलेट डे इन्होंने सेलिब्रेट किया गवर्नमेंट ने, आप लोगों ने भी किया होगा कॉलेजेस में। और ये इस जगह बिकॉज ड्राई हिली एरिया है, हिली टेरेन है, पानी वाटर टेबल डाउन है, मिलेट को यहाँ पे प्रमोट किया जा सकता है, एंड दैट विल प्रीलिमिनरी डाटा, न्यू एप्लीकेशन है आपकी, तो प्रीलिमिनरी डाटा की यहाँ पे ये फसलें होती हैं, ये यहाँ की नेटिव फसलें हैं, नेटिव जिसको होते हैं कि वहीं का अनाज है, ठीक है, यहाँ की फसल है, इसको प्रमोट किया जा सकता है। वो पूरी की पूरी आएगी आपकी स्टडी यहाँ पे, कितना हेक्टर लैंड है, कितने लोग बीजते हैं, कितनी पॉपुलेशन है, क्या स्टेटस है, वो सारे यहाँ आ जाए। अब आप करेंगे रिसर्च डिजाइन एंड मेथड्स पे आएंगे। रिसर्च डिजाइन एंड मेथड में सेंसिटाइजेशन आएगा ऑफ द पीपल, लोगों को समझाना। दूसरा आएगा आपकी जो एग्रीकल्चर साइंटिस्ट और हॉर्टिकल्चर की कनेक्टिविटी उनके साथ, आई डू नॉट नो क्या है, उनकी एक अपनी प्लान चलेगा। तीसरा प्रमोट करना, कुछ चीज़ों पे सब्सिडी देनी पड़ेगी पूरा पूरा यहाँ पे, और क्या मेथड आप लेंगे वो आपको दिखाना पड़ेगा। सब्जेक्ट में क्या आ जाएगा आपका, एग्रीकल्चर साइंसेज एंड इकोनॉमिक्स, दैट इज गोइंग टू बी योर सब्जेक्ट एरिया एंड लिटरेचर। इससे रिलेटेड आप 20-30 पेपर तो पढ़ने तैयार कर दिया आपने। This is one of the example I have. This is the way you have to do it. And yes, this rationally behind is because this is addressing the migration of the people of Pauri Garhwal region. This is the rationality. आपकी रिसर्च प्रपोजल जो है वो रियल टाइम डाटा एनालिसिस है किसका, माइग्रेशन का, एंड एड्रेसिंग द इशू, उस इशू को एड्रेस करना। समझाया मैंने, क्या समझाया आपको?
Ma'am,
हाँ जी।
ma'am, how much funding effectively is go
फंडिंग में देखिए आपको, आप यू हैव कंप्लीटेड योर पीएचडी तो आपको फेलोशिप मिलता है। पोस्ट पीएचडी आई थिंक डीएसटी वगैरह 55,000 के ऊपर देते हैं। पार्ट टाइम पीएचडी में जो फेलोशिप है, फेलोशिप भी 35,000 के आसपास मिलेगा आपको पर मंथ, अलॉन्ग विद आप जेआरएफ हैं या किस कैटेगरी में आते हैं, जेआरएफ या एसआरएफ कैटेगरी में आते हैं तो उसके हिसाब से आपको मिला अलॉन्ग विद द कंटिजेंसी। और आप अगर अपना पर तो पीएमएफआरएस है जो पीएचडी वालों के लिए है, प्रधानमंत्री, हाँ हाँ, उस तरह की कई योजनाएं हैं। तो आप डीएसटी की साइट पे जाइए, डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी की साइट पे जाइए, वहाँ पे आपको सारा डिटेल मिलेगा इन्फॉर्मेशन। कुछ इन्फॉर्मेशन मुझे भी नहीं पता होगी एट दिस, बिकॉज हर प्रपोजल का एक टाइम लाइन होती है। सो गो टू द यूजीसी, यूजीसी भी देती है, स्टूडेंट्स के लिए नहीं है शायद, वहाँ से फैकल्टी के लिए है, फैकल्टी, लेकिन स्टूडेंट्स के लिए डीएसटी पे है।
डीएसटी पे कुछ
डीएसटी
इस करंट सेशन का तो आज ही कल परसों नजर
हाँ, उसका निकला। दूसरा एमेरिटस भी है, एमेरिटस नहीं, एमेरिटस नहीं आपका वो
एक फेलो भी रहा,
हाँ एमेरिटस फेलो है ना, वो है, वो भी है, काफी है वहाँ पे। सो प्लीज गो टू द डीएस, डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी और मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी साइट, वहाँ पे स्टूडेंट से रिलेटेड, फैकल्टी से रिलेटेड, एवरीथिंग इज बीइंग गिवन देयर। तो मुझे लगता है कि आपको रोज एक लुक देना चाहिए उसके ऊपर कि क्या निकल रहा है और हमारे से कंसर्न क्या है।
और वुमेन का तो वैसे भी,
वुमेन का तो बहुत ही, वुमेन की, बिकॉज मैंने 2 वुमेन की एड्रेस की हैं, एक मैंने कंप्लीट करा दिया, वो वोसा ए, वोसा बी मेरे पास चल रही है, वो भी एग्रीकल्चर से रिलेटेड है, वो तो फील्ड टेस्टिंग पे है, फील्ड में काम करते हैं जाके। वोसा बी, किरण, डीएसटी किरण प्रोजेक्ट व्हिच इज स्टिल गोइंग ऑन विद मी। There's a lady, she's PhD, she's I think getting more 55,000 or 60,000 per month, plus contingency, plus travel, everything. So they're good schemes, but yes, you need to know this also. Right? And I'm always there. He can take email address from him or pamita@nith.ac.in. So you can put me an email and you can always talk to me if you feel any difficulty in writing. Right? I will always help you. If you feel कि मैम इसको मैं कैसे यहाँ पे मुझे ऐसे इसकी क्या, हालांकि सब्जेक्ट रिलेटेड डोमेन में तो नहीं, मैं I can give you a general idea about it, that how you must proceed. Right? और कुछ? Any other question, please?
थैंक यू मैडम।
Thank you, Ji. Thank you. Wish you all the very best.
नहीं मैम, हमारा फोटोग्राफर
Thank you.
अभी सर्दी के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से हम देखें। जी मैम,
Thank you.
थैंक यू। मैडम एक फोटोग्राफ
हाँ हाँ
आइए।
इधर बाहर
देना है मतलब